ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. Namaste, my dear friends. This is the sixth video on Talks with Swami Vivekananda. I start video number 6 with talk number 19. Need for faith in oneself. Service and business, so-called educated people, masses, their future, place the rented mutt premises at Balliol year 1898. The disciple has come to the mutt this morning. As soon as he stood after touching the feet of Swamiji, Swamiji said, "What is the use of your continuing in service anymore? Why not going for some business?" The disciple was then employed as a private tutor in some family. Asked about the profession of teaching, Swamiji said, "If one does the work of teaching boys for a long time, he gets blunt in intellect, his intelligence is not manifested. If one stays among a crowd of boys day and night, gradually he gets obtuse. So give up the work of teaching boys." Disciple, what shall I do then? Swamiji, why? If you want to live the life of a worldly man and have a desire for earning money, then go over to America. I shall give you directions for business. You will find that in 5 years you will get together a lot of money. Disciple, what business shall I go in for, and where I am to get the money? Swamiji, what nonsense are you talking? Within you lies indomitable power. Only thinking, I am nothing, you have become powerless. Why you alone? The whole race has become so. Go round the world once and you will find how vigorously the life current of other nations is flowing. And what are you doing? Even after learning so much, you go about the doors of others, crying, "Give me employment," trampled under others' feet, doing slavery for others. Are you man anymore? You are not worth a pin's head. In this fertile country with abundant water supply, where nature produces wealth and harvest 1,000 times more than in others, you have no food for your stomach, no clothes to cover your body. In this country of abundance, the produce of which has been the cause of the spread of civilization in other countries, you are reduced to such straits. Your condition is even worse than that of a dog, and you glory in your Vedas and Vedanta. A nation that cannot provide for its simple food and clothing, which always depends on others for its subsistence, what is there for it to want about? Throw your religious observances overboard for the present and be first prepared for the struggle for existence. People of foreign countries are turning out such golden results from the raw materials produced in your country, and you, like asses of burden, are only carrying their load. The people of foreign countries import Indian raw goods, manufacture various commodities by bringing their intelligence to bear upon them, and become great. Whereas you have locked up your intelligence, thrown away your inherited wealth to others, and roam about crying piteously for food. Disciple, in what way, sir, can the means of subsistence be procured? Swamiji, why, the means are in your hands. You blindfold your eyes and say, "I am blind," and can see nothing. Tear of the fall from your eyes, and you will see the whole world lighted by the rays of the midday sun. If you cannot procure money, go to foreign countries working your passage as a laskar. Take Indian cloth, towel, bamboo work and other indigenous products and peddle in the streets of Europe and America. You will find how greatly Indian products are appreciated in foreign markets even now. In America, I found some Mohammedans of the Hooghly district had grown rich by peddling Indian commodities in this way. Have you even less intelligence than they? Take, for example, such excellent fabric as the Banaras made saris of India, the like of which are not produced anywhere else in the world. Go to America with this cloth, have gowns made out of this fabric and sell them, and you will see how much you earn. Disciple, sir, why will they wear gowns made of the saris of Banaras? I have heard that clothes painted diversely are not to the taste of the ladies in those countries. Swamiji, whether they will receive them or not, I shall look to that. It is for you to exert yourself and go over there. I have many friends in that country to whom I shall introduce you. At first I shall request them to take this cloth up among themselves. Then you'll find many will follow suit, and at last you won't be able to keep the supply up to the enormous demand. Disciple, where shall I get the capital for the business? Swamiji, I shall anyhow give you a start. For the rest, you must depend on your own exertions. If you fail, you get to heaven, and if you win, you enjoy the earth. Gita. Even if you die in this attempt, well and good, many will take up the work, following your example, and if you succeed, you will live a life of great opulence. Disciple, yes, sir, so it is, but I cannot muster sufficient courage. Swamiji, that's what I say. My son, you have no Shraddha, no faith in yourself. What will you achieve? You will have neither material nor spiritual advancement. Either put forth your energy in the way I have suggested and be successful in life, or give up all and take to the path we have chosen. Serve the people of all countries through spiritual instructions, then only will you get your dole of food like us. If there is no mutual exchange, do you think anybody cares for any other? You observe in our case that because we give the householders some spiritual instructions, they in return give us some morsels of food. If you do nothing, why will they give you food? You observe so much misery in mere service and slavery of others, still you are not waking up. And so your misery also is never at an end. This is certainly the delusive power of Maya. In the West, I found that those who are in the employment of others have their seats fixed in the back rows in the parliament, while the front seats are reserved for those who have made themselves famous by self-exertion or education or intelligence. In Western countries, there is no botheration of caste. Botheration of caste. Those on whom fortune smiles for their industry and exertion are alone regarded as leaders of the country and the controllers of its destiny. Whereas in your country you are simply wanting of your superiority in caste till at last you cannot even get a morsel of food. You have not the capacity to manufacture a needle and you dare to criticize the English fools. Sit at their feet and learn from them the arts, industries, and the practicalities necessary for the struggle for existence. You will be esteemed once more than you will become fit. Then they too will pay heed to your words. Without the necessary preparation, what will mere shouting in the Congress avail? Disciple, but sir, all the educated men of the country have joined it. Swamiji, well, you consider a man as educated if only he can pass some examinations and deliver good lecture. The education which does not help the common mass of people to equip themselves for the struggle for life, which does not bring out strength of character, a spirit of philanthropy, and the courage of a lion, is it worth the name? Real education is that which enables one to stand on his own legs. The education that you are receiving now in schools and colleges is only making you a race of dyspeptics. You are walking like machines merely and living a jellyfish existence. The peasant, the shoemaker, the sweeper, and such other lower classes of India have much greater capacity for work and self-reliance than you. They have been silently working through long ages and producing the entire wealth of the land without a word of complaint. Very soon they will get above you in position. Gradually, capital is drifting into their hands and they are not so much troubled with wants as you are. Modern education has changed your fashion, but new avenues of wealth lie yet undiscovered for want of the inventive genius. You have so long oppressed these forbearing masses, now is the time for their retribution, and you will become extinct in your vain search for employment, making it the be all and all of your life. Disciple, sir, although our power of originality is less than that of other countries, still the lower classes of India are being guided by our intelligence. So where will they get the power and culture to overcome the higher classes in the struggle for existence? Swamiji, never mind if they have not read a few books like you, if they have not acquired your tailor-made civilization. What do these matter? But they are the backbone of the nation in all countries. If these lower classes stop work, where will you get your food and clothing from? If the sweepers of Calcutta stop work for a day, it creates a panic, and if they strike for 3 days, the whole town will be depopulated by the outbreak of epidemics. If the laborers stop work, your supply of food and clothes also stops, and you regard them a low class people and want about your own culture. Engrossed in the struggle for existence, they had not the opportunity for the awakening of knowledge. They have worked so long uniformly like machines guided by human intelligence, and clever educated section have taken the substantial part of the fruits of their labor. In our country, this has been the case, but times have changed. The lower classes are gradually awakening to this fact and making a united front against this, determined to exact their legitimate dues. The masses of Europe and America have been the first to awaken and have already begun the fight. Signs of this awakening have shown themselves in India too, as is evident from the number of strikes among the lower classes nowadays. The upper classes will no longer be able to repress the lower, try they ever so much. The well-being of the higher classes now lies in helping the lower to get their legitimate rights. Therefore, I say, set yourself to the task of spreading education among the masses. Tell them and make them understand you are our brothers, a part and parcel of our bodies, and we love you and never hate you. If they receive this sympathy from you, their enthusiasm for work will be increased a hundredfold. Kindle their knowledge with the help of modern science. Teach them history, geography, science, literature, and along with these profound truths of religion. In exchange for that teaching, the poverty of the teachers will also disappear. By mutual exchange, both parties will become friendly to each other, disciple. But sir, with the spread of learning among them, they too will in course of time have fertile brains but become idle and inactive like us and live on the fruits of the labor of the next lower classes. Swamiji, why shall it be so? Even with the awakening of knowledge, the potter will remain a potter, the fisherman a fisherman, the peasant a peasant. Why should they leave their hereditary calling? Sejam kram konte sedosam apine tajit. Don't give up the work to which you are born, even if it be attended with defeats. If they are taught in this way, why should they give up their respective callings? Rather, they will apply their knowledge to the better performance of the work to which they have been born. A number of geniuses are sure to arise from among them in course of time. You, the higher classes, will take these into your own fold. The Brahmins had acknowledged valiant King Vishwamitra as a Brahmana and think how grateful the whole Kshatriya race become to the Brahmanas for this act. By such sympathy and cooperation, even birds and beasts become one's own, not to speak of man. Disciple. Sir, what you say is true, but there yet seems to be a wide gulf between the higher and lower classes. To bring the higher classes to sympathize with the lower seems to be a difficult affair in India, Swamiji. But without that, there is no well-being for you upper classes. You will be destroyed by internecine quarrels and fights which you have been doing so long. When the masses will wake up, they will come to understand o- your oppression on them, and by a puff of their mouth you will be entirely blown off. It is they who have introduced civilization amongst you, and it is they who will then pull it down. Think how at the hands of the gods and mighty ancient Roman civilization crumbled into dust. Therefore, I say, try to rouse these lower classes from slumber by imparting learning and culture to them. When they will awaken and awaken one day, they also will not forget your good services to them and will remain grateful to you. After such conversation, Swamiji, addressing the disciples, said, let the subject drop now. Come tell me what you have decided. Do something, whatever it be. Either go in for some business or live like us, come to the path of real sannyasa. Atmano moksartham jagtitaya cha, for your own liberation and for the good of the world. The latter path is a course, the best way there is. What good will it do to be a worthless householder? You have understood that everything in life is transitory. Nalini no dalgat jalmati tarlam tajavno nan Tisse chapalam. Life is as unstable as the water on the lotus leaf. Therefore, if you have the enthusiasm for acquiring this knowledge of the Atma, do not wait any more but come forward immediately. Yad Hare Virjeti Tad Hare pravarjit. The very day that you feel dispassion for the world, that very day renounce and take to sannyasa. Sacrifice your life for the good of others and go round the doors of people carrying this message of fearlessness. Uttishtat jagrate, prapya pran nibodhate. Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. Talk number 20. At the Zoological Garden at Alipur, Darwin theory of evolution and Patanjali need for physical strength. Place Calcutta, year 1898. Swamiji, accompanied by Sister Nivedita, Swami Yogananda, and others, has come to visit the Zoological Garden at Alipur in the afternoon. Rai Ram Brahma Sanyal Bahadur, superintendent of the garden, cordially received them and took them round the garden. Swamiji, as he went on seeing the various species of animals, casually referred to the Darwinian theory of the gradual evolution of animals. The disciple remembers how, entering the room for snakes, he pointed to a huge python with circular rings on its body, with the remark, "From this the tortoise has evolved in course of time." That very snake, by remaining stationary at one spot for a long time, has gradually turned hard-backed. Saying this, he said in fun to the disciple, "You eat tortoises, don't you? Darwin holds that it is this snake that has evolved into the tortoise in the process of time. Then you eat snake too." The disciple protested, saying, "Sir, when a thing is metamorphed into another thing through evolution, it has no more its former shape and habits. Then how can you say that eating tortoises mean eating snakes also?" This answer created a laughter among the party. After seeing some other things, Swamiji went to Ram Brahma Babu quarters in the garden, where he took tea, and others also did the same. Finding that the disciple hesitated to sit at the same table and partake of the sweets and tea which Sister Nivedita had touched, Swamiji repeatedly urged him to take them, which he was induced to do, and drinking water himself, he gave the rest of it to the disciple to drink. After this, there was a short conversation on Darwin's evolution theory. Ram Brahma Babu, what is your opinion on the evolution theory of Darwin and the causes has put forward for it? Swamiji, taking for granted that Darwin is right, I cannot yet admit that it is the final conclusion about the causes of evolution. Ram Brahma Babu, did the ancient scholars of our country discuss this subject? Swamiji, the subject has been nicely discussed in the Sankhya philosophy. I am of opinion that the conclusion of the ancient Indian philosophers is the last word on the cause of evolution. Ram Brahma Babu, I shall be glad to hear of it if it can be explained in a few words. Swamiji, you are certainly aware of the laws of struggle for existence, survival of the fittest, natural selection, and so forth, which have been held by the Western scholars to be the causes of elevating a lower species to a higher. But none of these has been advocated as the cause of that in the system of Patanjali. Patanjali holds that the transformation of one species into another is effected by the infilling of nature. Prakirta Purat. It is not that this is done by the constant struggle against obstacles. In my opinion, struggle and competition sometimes stand in the way of being attaining its perfection. If the evolution of an element is affected by the destruction of a thousand others, then one must confess that this evolution is doing very little good to the world, taking it for granted that it conducts to physical well-being. We cannot help admitting that it is a serious obstacle to spiritual development. According to the philosophers of our country, every being is a perfect soul, and the diversity of evolution and manifestation of nature is simply due to the difference in the degree of manifestation of the soul. The moment the obstacles to the evolution and manifestation of the nature are completely removed, the soul manifests itself perfectly. Whatever may happen in the lower strata of nature's evolution in the higher strata at any rate, it is not true that it is only by constantly struggling against obstacles that one has to go beyond them. Rather, it is observed that there the obstacles give way and a greater manifestation of the soul takes place through education and culture, through concentration and meditation, and above all through sacrifice. Therefore, to designate the obstacles not as the effects but as the causes of the soul manifestation and describe them as aiding this wonderful diversity of nature is not consonant with reason. The attempt to remove evil from world by killing a thousand evil doers only adds to the evil in the world. But if the people can be made to desist from evil doing by means of spiritual instruction, there is no more evil in the world. Now see how horrible the Western struggle theory becomes. Ram Brahma Babu was astonished to hear Swami's words and at length said, India badly needs at the present moment men well versed in the Eastern and Western philosophies like you. Such men alone are able to point out the mistakes of the educated people who see only one side of the shield. I am extremely delighted to hear your original explanation of the evolution theory. Shortly after Swamiji with party left for Bagh Bazar and reached Balaram Bose's house at about 8 p.m. After a short rest, he came to the drawing room where there was a small gathering, all eager to hear of the conversation at the zoological garden in detail. When Swamiji came to the room, the disciple, as the spokesman of the meeting, raised that very topic. Disciple, sir, I have not been able to follow all your remarks about evolution theory at the zoo garden. Will you kindly recapitulate them in simple words, Swamiji? Why, which points did you fail to grasp? Swamiji, you have often told us that it is the power to struggle with the external forces which constitutes the sign of life and the first step towards improvement. Today you seem to have spoken just the opposite thing. Swamiji, why should I speak differently? It was you who could not follow me. In the animal kingdom, we really see such laws as struggle for existence, survival of the fittest, etc., evidently at work. Therefore, Darwin's theory seems true to a certain extent, but in the human kingdom, where there is the manifestation of rationality, we find just the reverse of those laws. For instance, in those whom we consider really great men or ideal characters, we scarcely observe any external struggle. In the animal kingdom, instinct prevails, but the more a man advances, the more he manifests rationality. For this reason, progress in the rational human kingdom cannot be achieved like that in the animal kingdom by the destruction of others. The highest evolution of man is effected through sacrifice alone. A man is great among his fellows in proportion as he can sacrifice for the sake of others. while in the lower state of the animal kingdom, that animal is the strongest which can kill the greatest number of animals. Hence, the struggle theory is not equally applicable to both kingdoms. Man's struggle is in the mental sphere. A man is greater in proportion as he can control his mind. When the mind's activities are perfectly at rest, the Atma manifests itself. The struggle which we observe in the animal kingdom for the preservation of the gross bodily obtains in the human plan of existence for gaining mastery over the mind of for attaining the state of balance like a living tree and its reflection in the water of a tank. We find opposite kinds of struggle in the animal and human kingdoms. Disciple, why then do you advocate so much the improvement of our physique? Swamiji. Well, do you consider yourself as man? You have got only a bit of rationality, that's all. How will you struggle with the mind unless the physique be strong? Do you deserve to be called man any longer? The highest evolution in the world. What have you got besides eating, sleeping, and satisfying the creature comforts? Thank your stars that you have not developed into quadrupeds yet. Sri Ramakrishna used to say he is the man who is conscious of his dignity. You are but standing witnesses to the lowest class of insect-like existence of which the scripture speaks, that they simply undergo the round of births and deaths without being allowed to go to any of the higher spheres. You are simply living a life of jealousy among yourselves and are objects of hatred in the eyes of the foreigner. You are animals, therefore I recommend you to struggle. Leave aside theories and all that, just reflect calmly on your own everyday acts and dealings and find out whether you are not a species of beings intermediate between the animals and human planes of existence. First build up your physique, then only you can get control over the mind. Nayamatma Baldon and love has this self is not to be attained by the weak disciple, but sir, the commentator Sankara has interpreted the word weak to mean devoid of brahmacharya or continence. Swamiji, let him. I say the physically weak are unfit for the realization of the self. Disciple, but many dull-headed persons also have strong bodies. Swamiji, if you can take the pains to give them good ideas, once they will be able to work them out sooner than physically unfit people. Don't you find in a weak physique it is difficult to control the sex appetite or anger? Lean people are quickly incensed and are quickly overcome by the sex instinct. Disciple, but we find exceptions to the rule also. Swami, who denies it? Once a person gets control over the mind, it matters little whether the body remains strong or becomes emaciated. The gist of the thing is that unless one has a good physics, one can never aspire to self-realization. Sri Ramakrishna used to say one fails to attain realization if there be but a slight defect in the body. Finding that Swamiji had grown excited, the disciple did not dare to push on the topic further, but remained quiet, accepting Swamiji's view. Shortly after, Swamiji, addressing those present, said, "Be the by, have you heard that this priest has today taken food which was touched by Nivedita? That he took the sweets touched by her did not matter so much, but here he addressed the disciple. How did you drink the water she had touched? Disciple, but it was you, sir, who ordered me to do so. Under the Guru's orders, I can do anything. I was unwilling to drink the water though, but you drank it and I had to take it as prasad. Swamiji, well, your caste is gone forever. Now nobody will respect you as a Brahmin of the priest class. Disciple, I don't care if they don't. I can take the rice from the house of a pariah if you order me to. These words set Swamiji and all those present in a roar of laughter. The conversation lasted till it was past midnight when the disciple came back to his lodging only to find it bolted, so he had to pass the night out of doors. The whole of time has rolled on in an unrelenting course, and Swamiji, the Swami Yogananda, and Sister Nivedita are now no more on earth. Only the sacred memory of their lives remains, and the disciple, considering himself blessed to be able to record in ever so meager a way these reminiscences. Talk number 21. Swami Vivekananda's future plan about Belur Mutt, work and meditation, nations, Brahma and the world of matter. Place the rented mutt premises at Belur year 1898. The disciple has come to the mutt today. It has now been removed to Nilambar Babu's garden house, and the site of the present mutt has recently been purchased. Swamiji out visiting the new mutt ground at about 4 o'clock, taking the disciple with him. The site was then full of jungles, and on the north side of it there was a one-storied brick-built house. Swamiji began to walk over the site and to discuss in the course of conversation the plan of work of the future mutt and its rules and regulations. Reaching by degrees the veranda on the east side of the one-storied house, Swamiji said, here would be the place for the sadhus to live in. It is my wish to convert this mutt into a chief center of spiritual practices and culture of knowledge. The power that will have its rise from here will flood the whole world and turn the course of men's lives into different channels. From this place will spring forth ideas which will be the harmony of knowledge, devotion, yoga, and work. At a nod from the man of this mutt, a life-giving impetus will in time be given to the remotest corners of the globe. While all true seekers after spirituality will in course of time assemble here, a thousand thoughts like these are arising in my mind. Yonder plot of land on the south side of the mutt will be the center of learning, where grammar, philosophy, science, literature, rhetoric, the Shrutis, Bhakti scriptures and English will be taught. This temple of learning will be fashioned after the tools of old days. Boys who are brahmacharis from their childhood will live there and study the scriptures. Their food and clothing and all will be supplied from the mutt. After a course of 5 years training, these brahmacharis may, if they like, go back to their homes and lead householders' lives, or they may embrace the monastic life with the sanction of the venerable superiors of the mutt. The authorities of the mutt will have the power to turn out at once any of these brahmacharis who will be found refractory or of a bad character. Uh, Teaching will be imparted here irrespective of caste or creed, and those who will have objection to this will not be admitted. But those who would like to observe their particular caste rights should make separate arrangements for their food, etc. They will attend the classes only along with the rest. The mutt authorities shall keep a vigilant to watch over the character of these also. None but those that are trained here shall be eligible for sannyasa. Won't it be nice when by degrees this mutt will begin to work like this? Disciple, when you want to reintroduce into the country the ancient institution of living a brahmachari's life in the house of the Guru Swamiji, exactly the modern system of education gives no facility for the development of the knowledge of Dharma. We must found brahmacharya homes as in times of old, but now we must lay their foundation on a broad basis. That is to say, we must introduce a good deal of change into it to suit the requirements of the times. Of this I shall speak to you later on. That piece of land to the south of the Mutt Swamiji resumed, we must also purchase in time. There we shall start an Annasastra, a feeding home. Their arrangements will be made for serving really people in the spirit of God. The feeding home will be named after Sri Ramakrishna. Its scope will at first be determined by the amount of funds. For the matter of that, we may start it with 2 or 3 inmates. We must train energetic brahmacharis to conduct this home. They will have to collect the funds for its maintenance, even by begging. The mutt will not be allowed to give any pecuniary help in this matter. The brahmacharis themselves shall have to raise funds for it. Only after completing their 5 years training in this home of service will they be allowed to join the temple of learning branch after a training of 10 years, 5 in the feeding home and 5 in the temple of learning. They will be allowed to enter the life of sannyasa, having initiation from the mutt authorities, provided of course they have a mind to become sannyasis and the mutt authorities consider them fit for sannyasa and are willing to admit them into it. But the head of the mutt will be free to confer sannyasa on any exceptionally meritorious brahmacharin at any time. In defiance of this rule, the ordinary brahmacharis, however, will have to qualify themselves for sannyasa by degrees, as I have just said. I have all these ideas in my brain. Disciple, sir, what will be the object of starting 3 such sections in the mutt? Swamiji, did not you understand me? First of all comes the gift of food, next is the gift of learning, and the highest of all is the gift of knowledge. We must harmonize those 3 ideals in this mutt by continuously practicing the gift of food. The brahmacharis will have the idea of practical work for the sake of others and that of serving all beings in the spirit of the Lord firmly impressed on their minds. This will gradually purify their minds and lead to the manifestation of sattvika, pure and unselfish ideas, and having this the brahmacharis will in time acquire the fitness for attaining the knowledge of dharma and become eligible for sannyasa. Disciple, sir, if as you say the gift of knowledge is the highest, why then start sections for the gift of good and the gift of learning? Swamiji, can't you understand this point even now? Listen, if in these days of food scarcity you can, for the disinterested service of others, get together a few morsels of food by begging or any other means and give them to the poor and suffering, that will not only be doing good to yourself and the world, but you will at the same time get everybody's sympathy for this noble work. The worldly minded people tied down to lust and wealth will have faith in you for this labor of love and come forward to help you. You will attract 1,000 times as many men by this unasked for gift of food as you will be the gift of learning or of knowledge. In no other work will you get so much public sympathy as you will in this, in a truly noble work, not to speak of man. Even God Himself befriends the doer. When people have thus been attracted, you will be able to stimulate the desire for learning and knowledge in them. Therefore, the gift of food comes first. Disciple, sir, to start feeding homes, we want a site first, then buildings, and then the funds to work them. Where will so much money come from? Swamiji, the southern portion of the mutt premises I am leaving at your disposal immediately, and I am getting a thatched house erected under that Bill tree. You just find out one or two blind or infirm people and apply yourself to their service. Go and beg food for them yourself. Cook with your own hands and feed them. If you continue this for some days, you will find that lots of people will be coming forward to assist you with plenty of money. Nehi kalyana kartve durgatin tat gachati. Never, my son, does a doer of good come to grief. Gita. Disciple, yes, it is true, but may not that kind of continuous work become a source of bondage in the long run? Swamiji, if you have no eye to the fruits of work and if you have a passionate longing to go beyond all selfish desires, then those good works will help to break your bonds. I tell you, how thoughtless of you to say that such work will lead to bondage. Such dining such disinterested work is the only means of rooting out the bondage due to selfish work. Nane pantha vidyate nyaya. There is no other way out. Disciple, your words increase me to hear in detail about your ideas of the feeding homes and homes of service. Swamiji, we must build small, well ventilated rooms for the poor. Only two or three of them will live in each room. They must be given good bedding, clean clothes, and so on. There will be a doctor for them who will inspect them once or twice a week according to his convenience. The Seva Asrama will be as a ward attached to the Annasastra Annasatra, where the sick will be nursed. Then gradually, as funds will accumulate, we shall build a big kitchen. The Annasatra must be astir with constant shouts of food demanded and immediately supplied. The rice gruel must run into the Ganges and whiten its water. When I see such a feeding home started, it will bring solace to my heart. Disciple, when you have this kind of desire, most likely it will materialize into action in course of time. Hearing the disciple's words, Swamiji remained motionless for a while, gazing on the Ganges. Then, with a beaming countenance, he addressed the disciple, saying, "Who knows which of you will have the lion roused up in him and when? If in a single one among us your mother rouses the fire, there will be hundreds of feeding homes like that. The thing is that knowledge and power and devotion, everything exists in the fullest measure in all beings. We only notice the varying degrees of their manifestation and call one great and another little. In the minds of all creatures, a screen intervenes as it were and hides the perfect manifestation from view. The moment that is removed, everything is settled. Whatever you will want, whatever you will desire will come to pass. Swamij continued, if the Lord wills, we shall make the mutt a great center of harmony. Our Lord is the visible embodiment of the harmony of all ideals. We will be established on earth if we keep alive that spirit of harmony here. We must see to it that people of all creeds and sects, from the Brahmin down to the Chandala, may come here and find their respective ideals manifested. The other day when I installed Sri Ramakrishna on the mutt grounds, I felt as if his ideas shot, shot forth from this place and flooded the whole universe, sentient and insentient. I, for one, am doing my best and shall continue to do so. All of you to explain to people the liberal ideas of Sri Ramakrishna. What is the use of merely reading the Vedanta? We must prove the truth of pure Advaitism in practical life. Sankara left this Advaita philosophy in the hills and forest, while I have come to bring it out of those places and scatter it broadcast before the workaday world and society. The line roar of Advaita must resound in every hearth and home, in meadows and groves, over hills and plains. Come all of you to my assistant and set yourself work. Disciple, sir, it appears to me rather to realize that state through meditation than to manifest it in action. Swamiji, that is but a state of stupefaction as under liquors. What will be the use of merely remaining like that? Through the urge of Advaitic realization, you should sometimes dance widely and sometimes remain lost to outward sense. Does one feel happy to taste of a good thing all by himself? One should share it with others. Granted that you attain personal liberation by means of the really realization of the Advaita, but what matters it to the world? You must liberate the whole universe before you leave this body. Then only you will be established in the eternal truth. Has that bliss any man's, my boy? You will be established in the bliss of the infinite, which is limitless like the skies. You will be struck dumb to find your presence everywhere in the world of soul and matter. You will feel the whole sentient and insentient world as your own self. Then you can't help treating all with the same kindness as you show towards yourself. This is indeed practical Vedanta. Do you understand me? Brahma is one but is at the same time appearing to us as many. On the relative plane, name and form are at the root of this relativity. For instance, what do you find when you abstract name and form from a jar? Only earth, which is its essence. Similarly, through delusion, you are thinking of and seeing a jar, a cloth, a monastery, and so on. The phenomenal world depends on this nescience which obstruct knowledge and which has no real existence. One sees varieties such as wife, children, body, mind only in the world created by science, by means of name and form. As soon as this license is removed, the realization of Brahma, which eternally exists, is the result. Disciple, where has this license come from? License means ignorance. Swamiji, where it has come from, I shall tell you later on. When you began to run, mistaking the rope for the snake, did the rope actually turn into a snake, or was it not your ignorance which put you to flight in that way? Disciple, I did it for sheer ignorance. Swamiji, well then consider whether when you will again come to know the rope as rope, you will not laugh at your previous ignorance. Will not name and form appear to be delusion then? Disciple, they will. Swamiji, if that be so, the name and form turn out to be unreal. Thus Brahma, the eternal existence, proves to be the only reality. Only through that twilight of nescience you think this is your wife, that is your child, this is your own, that is not your own, and so on, and fail to realize the existence of the Atma, the illuminator of everything. When through the Guru's instructions and your own conviction, you will see not this world of name and form, but the essence which lies at as its substratum, then only you will realize your identity with the whole universe from the creator down to a clump of grass. Then only you will get the state. Bhidyate Hridaya Granthi Chidante Sarva Sansaya, in which the notes of the heart are cut asunder and all doubts are dispelled. Dis- Disciples, sir, one wishes to know of the origin and cessation of this nuisance. Swamiji, you have understood, I presume, that a thing that ceases to exist afterward is a phenomenon merely. He who has truly realized the Brahma will say, where is science in faith? He sees the rope as rope only and never as the snake, and he laughs at the alarm of those who see it as the snake. For this reason, science has no absolute reality. You can call science neither real nor unreal. Sanyaya sanyaya yatmika. No, neither real nor unreal nor a mixture of both. About a thing that is thus proved to be false, neither question nor answer is of any significance. Moreover, any question on such a thing is unreasonable. I shall explain how are not this question and answer made from the standpoint of name and form of time and space. And can you explain Brahma which transcends time and space by means of questions and answers? Hence, the Shastras and mantras and such other things are only relatively and not absolutely true. Science has verily no essence to call its own. How then can you understand it? When Brahma will manifest itself, there will be no more room for such questions. Have you not heard that story of Sri Ramakrishna about the shoemaker coolie? The moment one recognizes nuisance, it vanishes. Disciple, but sir, where has this nuisance come? Swamiji, how can that come which has no existence at all? It must exist first to admit the possibility of coming. Disciple, how then did this world of souls and matter originate? Swamiji, there is only one existence which Brahma. You are but seeing that under different forms and names through the veil of a name and form which are unreal. Disciple, but why this unreal name and form? Whence have they come? Swamiji, the Shastras have described this ingrained notion or ignorance as almost endless as a series, but it has a termination while Brahma ever remains as it is without suffering the least change, like the rope which causes the delusion of the snake. Therefore, the conclusion of the Vedanta is that the whole universe has been superimposed on the Brahma, appearing like a juggler's magic. It has not caused the least aberration of Brahma from its real nature. Do you understand me? There is some further explanation. Once a Brahmin, desirous of going to a disciple's house, was in need of a coolie to carry his load. Not finding anyone belonging to a good caste, he at last asked a shoemaker to perform the function. The man at first refused on the ground that he was a man belonging to an untouchable caste, but the Brahmin insisted on engaging him, telling him that he would escape detection by keeping perfectly silent. The man was at last persuaded to go, and when the party reached their destination, someone asked the shoemaker servant to remove a pair of shoes. The servant, who thought it Best to keep silent as instructed, paid no attention to the order, which was repeated, whereupon the man, getting annoyed, shouted out, Why, why dost thou not hear me? Sira, art thou a shoemaker? O master, cried the bewildered shoemaker, I am discovered I cannot stay any longer. Saying this, he immediately took to his heels. Now, originally. Disciple, one thing I cannot yet understand. Swamiji, what is that? Disciple, you have just said that creation, maintenance, and dissolution, etc., are superimposed on the Brahma and have no absolute existence. But how can that be? One can never have the delusion of something that he has not already experienced, just as one who has never seen a snake cannot mistake a rope for a snake. So, how can one who has not experienced this creation come to mistake Brahma for the creation? Therefore, creation must have been or is to have given rise to the delusion of creation, but this brings in a dualistic position. Swamiji, the man of realization, will in the first place refute your objection by stating that to his vision, creation and things of that sort do not all appear. He sees Brahma and Brahma alone. He sees the rope and not the snake. If you argue that you at any rate are seeing this creation or snake, then he will try to bring home to you the real nature of the rope with a view to curing your defective vision. When through his instructions and your reasoning you will be able to realize the truth of the rope or Burma, then this delusive idea of the snake or creation will vanish at that time. What else can you call this delusion, idea of creation, maintenance, and dissolution, but a superimposition on the Brahma? If this appearance of creation, etc., has continued as a beginningless series, let it do so. No advantage will be gained by settling this question. Until Brahma is realized as vividly as a fruit on the palm of one's hand, this question cannot be adequately settled, and then neither such a question crops up nor is there need for a solution. The tasting of the reality of Brahma is then like a dumb man tasting something nice but without the power of express his feeling. Disciple, what then will be the use of reasoning about it so much? Swamiji, reasoning is necessary to understand the point intellectually, but the reality transcends reasoning. Nesam tarkan matira meya. This conviction cannot be reached through reasoning. In the course of such conversation, Swamiji reached the matte accompanied by the disciples. Swami then explained to the sannyasis and brahmacharis of the mutt the gist of the above discussion on Brahma. While going upstairs, he remarked to the disciple, Nayatma balhinan labha. This Atma cannot be attained by the weak. So here I end the video. Please like, comment and share the video and subscribe the channel. Namaskar my dear friends, namaskar. And next video will start with talk number 22. Thanks a lot. Namaskar.